Um, we've got some new information, Mike, on what went down with this Silicon Valley Bank and the buyout. I was hoping you could share that with our audience, Michael.
Sure. So there was some information released late last week by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation where they apparently didn't redact some of the more sensitive information. And so we saw a much deeper dive into who received some of these bailouts. And that's the thing, I think that there's a lot of misperception about what was supposed to have taken place versus what did take place. And the belief is that if you come in and depositors take losses, it means you wipe out their accounts. And that's just not at all the case. What we're really talking about is that if you had said to the uninsured depositors, you're only going to get about 95 cents on the dollar, that would have fixed the situation. That would have made Silicon Valley Bank back to solvent. Instead, what we're doing is we're fully insuring those deposits, and that's getting passed along to bank account depositors at other banks who are going to have to pay back the fund. So there's this really disingenuous notion coming out of the White House and out of the Treasury Department that taxpayers aren't going to pay for the bailout of some of these Chinese companies that got money because they had uninsured deposits at Silicon Valley Bank, some of the hedge funds, some of the private equity funds, some of these big tech companies that are engaged in, some of these technology activities that are questionable. They're the ones that got money. Who's paying for it? It's going to be depositors at regular banks. You and me who have our money at some of the bigger banks, we're going to see lower rates of return on our savings. And that's where the money's going to come from to pay for these uninsured deposits that were nevertheless insured by Janet Yellen and the people at FDIC.
So what you're saying, Michael, is that had instead the regulators said, "Look, we're going to give everybody up to 95 cents on a dollar," that 5% spread would have kept the bank solvent, and then there would have been not a disaster, but equal pain to go around for everybody because you were putting your money in banks over 20,000, so you were kind of riding that thing. So you're going to get hurt there, and obviously, people not happy when they lose money. So you would have got new management there immediately. But basically, and everybody would have had a little bit of pain for the reality of what that bank did, the ESG, the social scores, all the nonsense they did, and they would have been solvent and not hurt other depositors around the nation. Is that what you're saying?
Mostly. So it would not have been everybody because remember, deposits are insured up to $250,000. So it's
Right.
only those who had accounts in excess of $250,000. And you're talking about the Silicon Valley Titans. You're talking about the hedge funds and the private equity funds, and some of these tech companies that had done recent fundraising in a hot equity market. That's who would have taken some losses. It is not your, middle America outside the Beltway individual depositor because they don't hold $250,000 in bank accounts. And I don't think it would have created much damage. I really think it was a bailout to those folks under the guise of saying it would have created problems in financial markets. It wouldn't have. If anything, it would have returned discipline to financial markets. If what you say to investors is heads you win, tails I lose, then they're going to keep taking massive risks. Remember, anytime somebody makes a deposit at a bank, there is a little signature sign that says right at the teller window, this is not insured above $250,000. These companies knew that they were gambling. They could have gone out and bought treasuries. They could have gone out and put their money in money market mutual funds. Instead, they went for higher yields at Silicon Valley Bank. Silicon Valley Bank then took that money, bet on interest rates, and what we're now saying to these depositors who knowingly took risk is you get to keep the higher rate of return when it succeeds, and when it fails, the taxpayers are going to bail you out.